Hey guys, welcome back to Westwood Student Press, back at it again with another crazy video. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Baker.
And today we are going to be reviewing the Greek gods.
And we're going to be giving them each a score from 1 through 10.
Yeah.
There's 12 big ones, and I think
a bunch of demigods
too. Demigods, which we might do some honorable mentions in the terms of demigods.
And of course, we also got to talk about the Titans,
who we'll briefly cover, but all that and more in this
fun-packed video.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, Baker, but I have some history with the Greek gods. You know, me and them go way back.
Percy Jackson was a big influence.
Yeah, I read the first one. I liked the first one a lot. One of my favorite books as a child. And then the second one just didn't interest me as much. So
really?
It fell off. Yeah.
Back before I knew how to find new books to read, I just read books I already read.
Yeah, and he actually demanded that everyone in elementary school call him Percy Jackson. He thought he was a demigod.
All right, let's just start with the first big one, and appropriately, it's the big one, Zeus. Basically, the father of gods and humans, but that's kind of a bad title for him, although we'll get into that later.
Sort of like the Obama of gods, if we're using like American metaphors, because he was kind of the leader, sort of the president. He's kind of the daddy.
Well, then we could just say he's the president of
Well, yeah, but
really
like more specifically,
Obama.
Like he would be Obama, because like Obama was the president.
He wouldn't be Obama, and we'll talk about that later. Big guy, lightning bolts.
If you know Greek gods, you know
Zeus. All right, well, let's get into the ranking of Zeus. Or if you have, what do you think?
Well, I think Zeus was kind of he's a cool character. Everybody knows Zeus. Flying around in his big lightning bolt, striking down. He can control lightning. He's big, got a big mustache and beard. And he's ultimately the most classic Greek god, so I'm going to give him a solid 6 out of 10. And I know that you would rankle with this because you're not really a fan of his actions. But in my opinion, that kind of makes him even more interesting because you'd expect him to be like this benevolent, like godly character. But really, down inside, us people who are Greek myth believers, we know that, Zeus he's sometimes not scratching where he's itching, and he sometimes does some pretty bad stuff, but that makes him compelling.
While I respect that decision, I gotta rate Zeus at a 3 out of 10. Honestly, it's Zeus the man versus Zeus the idea. Like, the idea of Zeus is, he's cool, he rules the Greek gods, he has lightning, who doesn't like that? But if you're a big Zeus fan, like if you say Zeus is your favorite Greek god...
Well, I'm not saying it's
I know, but to those who do, that is a problem. You see, Zeus was known for his many cruel actions. He often, took attack on mortals for really petty reasons. He was also notoriously a very bad cheater. He would disguise himself as various things and then use that to exploit women. The reason he's a 3 and not a 1 is, first of all, he gets style points for being pretty cool with his lightning.
One of the most dapper Greek gods.
For sure, yeah. And third, he kept them all together, and they hate each other. So that's an impressive feat, and just for that accomplishment, I'm going to have to give him a 3. Maybe tentatively a 4, but I got to say Zeus's actions are very condemning.
So what Baker here is saying is that instead of being the Obama, with all his unfaithfulness to his wife, Zeus is really more of the Bill Clinton of the Greek gods.
Demeter. Kind of a forgotten Greek goddess, but she was the goddess of agriculture and trees, plants, and grains. Also being the most ancient of the Greek gods.
As a little aside, Baker, I want to clarify to the audience. Both of us do believe in all of the Greek stories that are true.
Well,
and me personally, I think that Zeus is definitely a real guy, and he's definitely gonna strike you down for giving him a 3 out of 10. So you better watch your back. But we do both believe in the Greek.
I would not go so far.
I really don't think that they should be called myths because they're all real, and that seems a little disrespectful to me as a believer in these stories.
Demeter starts out at a midway 6. She helped humanity. She made the earth fruitful. Everyone loves the fruitful earth, and she gets an extra point for having that cool myth of Persephone. And
but that's not really even her myth.
Well, but it's her daughter and sins of the father. So I would say that Demeter, for being a pretty generally nice lady and goddess, gets a 7 out of 10 for me.
I'm gonna give her a 4. I feel like Demeter is one of the most forgettable gods, and honestly, I kind of forgot that she was even existed until now.
maybe a forgettable. I'll drop my rating down to a 6 out of 10,
Okay.
just because I'll start at that even point of just being a generally good individual.
Right.
I think Demeter's missing the cool factor.
Yeah.
But I could totally see her being rated higher by someone who just appreciates the good nature of Demeter. But I would go at a 6. Moving on to the third
we got a
Greek god.
big one coming up.
Big one.
One of the
Poseidon.
main ones, Poseidon.
Yeah.
We all know Poseidon. His kid was Percy Jackson. There was a big boat named after him. He's a giant man in the water.
And he's got a trident, too.
And he's Zeus's big bro.
And he's also Hades' brother.
The triplets.
Yeah.
And arguably Poseidon might be the best one out of all of them.
No, it's a hot take, but it's very, I would say it's very fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
The god of horses, too, not just
Yeah,
water,
just-
and earthquakes.
those are some powerful things. I mean, we all think of Poseidon as the god of water, but like Oliver pointed out, he's got some serious stuff on land.
He doesn't even live on Olympus, he lives in the water, which is really cool. He's like too cool for the rest of the gods, and he doesn't want to be involved in all the family drama.
Exactly.
He's like, of all of the triplets, he's like the cool, like, you know, kind of chill one.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, I give Poseidon honestly like an 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, first of all, the only thing keeping me from Poseidon giving him a 10 is he's a little wrathful. And I mean, I know we can say that about all the Greek gods, but Poseidon did kill a lot of people. And
All those
hey,
earthquakes.
it's fair enough. He drowned a lot of people. He hated a lot of sailors. But unlike Zeus, Poseidon didn't hate people for no reason.
Yeah.
You had to make him mad.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a petty thing, but at least you did something to aggravate him. Unfortunately, that ranking's gonna have to bring me down from a 10 to an 8. But still, great guy. Like
really the Barack Obama of Greek
really
gods.
the Barack Obama of Greek gods, I would say.
Ooh.
Hades, another strong one on this
Woo.
list.
Yeah, this guy is scary, y'all. He frightens me, and I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about how he's right under us right now, hanging out in the underworld, and he might be hearing us, and if we play our cards wrong, we could go join him in a few minutes, you know.
Which would not be a bad experience, because even though it might be torture, it would also be freaking awesome, because Hades is cool.
Hades is cool. The underworld in the Greek myths is a crazy place. You got a 3-headed dog, Cerberus. You got the boatman.
Cerberus. Oh, Cerberus is cool.
Yeah.
And the ferryman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though
Imagine 3 dogs barking at once, and you can imagine
And then
what
you can
Cerberus
imagine-
is right.
imagine a guy on a boat, and you can imagine the ferryman. Ooh.
Scary stuff.
Real frightening.
Imagine
So-
a river of Styx. River Styx.
Styx.
And-
Spelled S-T-Y-X.
Yeah,
For a cool factor.
Ever heard of the band Styx?
No.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Styx, or like,
So if you love the Styx,
sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. That's POV theme song of this
Oh.
River Styx boatman.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to give Hades. Honestly, people mistake him for being a bad guy, but really, he didn't want to control the underworld. He basically got it in a raffle with Zeus and Poseidon.
And
but
Hades
still.
is in the Hercules movie. He's like kind of blue little thing.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yeah. Hades, to me, he's gonna get you know what? I'm gonna change my old ranking. No, Hades gets a 9 out of 10. Hades is
I agree. Hades is a 9 out of 10.
Hera.
There are almost no myths that refer exclusively to Hera, Baker.
Yeah, that is true.
And
She's known to be.
she's just kind of standing in Zeus's shadow, which is sad because I'm sure she's a really nice lady.
Yeah, and she's the goddess of marriage and motherhood, and those are good things.
Yeah. And she did object with Zeus a
She
few
did.
times.
Oh, actually, a lot. She objected with Zeus.
That's
She
true.
she was not afraid to speak her mind.
Ladies
and
are
also,
getting it done.
in Olympus. And also, there were plenty of times in the Greek myths where she would set Zeus right pretty dramatically.
You go, girl.
Zeus liked to cheat, and Hera was very jealous. But
Hera was not all about that
no,
in a
she
bag
was
of potato
not.
chips.
She would like blast Zeus,
Girl
or like, drag
boss
him
alert.
back, or she would like unturn him into whatever creature he was being, or even better, a lot of times she would make him ashamed. And that's
Sisters
that's
are doing
the
it
real
for
power.
themselves.
So Hera, I mean, she's a strong personality. She's knows what she wants, but she's exploited by the bad man in her life. And I gotta say, for that Hera, you have my sympathy. And Hera is a 7, for sure.
Honestly, I'd give Hera a strong 7 as well for being the original Greek girl boss. And for also being,
Awesome.
imagine Hera as sort of like female Obama of the Greek myths. So like Michelle Obama.
Yeah, like Michelle Obama. All right, that's all that can be said on Hera. Apollo.
Ooh.
Highly underrated. Apollo might be getting my first 10 on
Actually,
this list.
same.
Because while the other ones have their problems, they have their wrath, Apollo kind of doesn't. He's got it all.
He makes music, which
Yeah.
is like, well, everybody likes music. You know, he probably like busted out the guitar and was playing some Wonderwall.
Or, well, maybe the lyre. But,
Oh,
you know,
true.
still, that was back then. That
And
was
I
a
ain't
hot
lying when I say Apollo was great at the lyre.
All right, moving on.
He was the god, according to Google, Apollo was the god of practically everything. And who doesn't love everything?
And he was a Renaissance man. I mean, music, poetry, art, prophecy,
The sun?
truth,
Yeah,
archery,
that's the
healing,
plague.
The plague.
These are all awesome things.
The sun, light, flight. I mean, he's just got it all. Apollo's got to be a 10 out of 10. He represents the coolest stuff. And also, he's not very obtrusive. He's not going around smiting people, really. What about
Same, 10, solid 10. And speaking of Apollo, we got his twin sister, Artemis, the goddess of hunting and the wilderness. And honestly, Artemis is one of my favorite female gods. She's really cool. She's like a cool, awesome huntress.
Yeah.
She got a crossbow and like she just like lives in the woods with a bunch of forest nymphs. And she was like, again, like another OG girl boss. She was one of apparently the primary goddesses of childbirth, which I guess there were several.
Yeah. There was a lot of that happening.
And
so
she was also the god of
gods.
midwifery. Artemis Fowl.
Oh, Artemis Fowl. Yes.
You ever read those?
The namesake of Artemis Fowl. Yeah. Boy genius, as it were.
Those books, I
cool.
never liked those books.
Really? I only read a graphic novel.
Maybe like an 8 out of 10.
I gotta say same. 8 out of 10, just above Hera, for sure. Alright, Aphrodite.
Awoga!
I
Considered
gotta say,
the most beautiful goddess.
some people say she's the oldest Olympian god. No points for that, in my opinion, since literally, you know, we all know that a different one is on the list. The forgettable one. Yeah. Anyway,
Very true, Baker. I think she was more known for her looks. Looking at this picture of her, she's not really doing anything for me. And I don't know.
It's probably gonna have to give her a 4.
I give her like a solid 4.5.
She gave a lot of birth. That's when she.
Ares! The god of war! Yeah, baby!
Not the first warmonger on this list, but certainly the most.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he has Demios and Phobos, which are freaking awesome, and they just like cause havoc. Those are his sons, by the way.
Demios.
He was considered to be handsome, strong, and well armed. Well armed.
Like me.
Don't we know? No, I mean like. Yeah. He loved war and battles, and so he was hated by people. Oh gosh. Well, I guess that's right.
But he was worshipped in Sparta, where they just loved
They
war.
love to kill. So people were kind of like, I don't like war. I don't like killing. Oh, I don't like those things. I don't like Ares. But come on, he's awesome.
We all have a place in our heart for warmongers.
Okay, in all seriousness, yeah, he was kind of cool.
He wore a big helmet.
He had a raw cool factor, but really, he was a warmonger.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, yeah, apparently he was also tried for his many war crimes.
Well, a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give him a 6. I gotta
I'm
say.
gonna give him a 7. I think
Oh,
I'm more
wow.
of an Ares fan than you. I think he's kind of cool.
So that's Ares.
We got another banger.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus, one of the best ones.
Yeah,
Honestly, this one
Hephaestus-
might be a 10 out of 10 for me.
Honestly, I think I might give another 10.
Big,
You know,
scruffy blacksmith guy.
he's just cool.
Big beard. He's like, ugh.
He was born and he was so ugly that Hera threw him off Olympus like, And he broke his leg or something.
But guess what? He came back stronger than ever,
yeah.
proving himself that no matter how ugly you are, you can still be awesome. And Baker, I hope you learned a lot from that lesson. He like crafted stuff. He's a bit like Minecraft Steve.
Yeah,
if you
in
will.
a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
but with a bit of Obama in there.
Yeah, he owns fire, literally, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All the gods need him. They need him, but he doesn't start drama. He doesn't kill people for no reason.
He's just making his stuff. He's just like making art and just like not caring and like everybody just kind of likes him and he's just like cool.
Yeah, he only has respect for other craftsmen, which honestly that's a cool trope. And I gotta say, it makes him a 10 for me.
10 out of 10. Hephaestus,
Absolutely.
maybe even 11 out of 10. Hephaestus is just a really awesome
he's
god.
just a cool guy. And I want to be a blacksmith, so I aspire to be like Hephaestus. Hermes. Ooh, good one. God of wealth, trade, thieves, big one, and travelers. Yeah. I think we can all get behind at least one of those. So already he's at a solid. He's also a trickster, so he stole Apollo's stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
It is. He stole a lot of people's stuff.
Yeah, but he was just a little silly.
He was
the silliest god.
He was the silliest.
And for
god.
that, I can respect him massively. In a way, I feel like in a lot of ways, I'm the modern day Hermes, you know?
Yeah, sure.
He could run really fast. He could do silly antics, and he was always just like
a messenger to the gods, which is a cool.
He was
position.
a prankster, kind of.
Yeah, he gets it 9.
Honestly, I might have to say 10 out of 10. Again,
really,
I feel like I'm kind of just throwing out the 10 out of 10s, but honestly, Hermes deserves it for being one of the coolest gods and one of the most kind of silly and fun ones.
Athena. Now, you've got the Ares is the god of war. He loves, like I mentioned earlier, he loves the wanton killing and destruction. But Athena loves war, real war, the strategy. She loves the strategy, the planning, the heroism, the things that make war sometimes an honorable endeavor. And I think for that, I respect her a lot. Oh, plus the goddess of wisdom.
Who doesn't love a smart girl boss?
I've said girl boss too many times in this video. Also, she came out of Zeus's head. That's a pretty cool origin story. It was like she was literally his brainchild.
Wait,
so
true.
Yeah,
that's why she's
that
so
expression,
smart.
Yeah.
I gotta give some respect to all those brainiacs out there.
Yeah.
Gonna give her an 8, 9 out of 10. Strong 8, 9 out of 10.
For sure.
I'm an Athena
I'm
fan.
gonna go with an 8, maybe a 9. Very close. Also, she gets bonus points because her origin story from cracking to the head involves Hephaestus. And Zeus was like, "Oh, my head's killing me, bro. Hephaestus, can you fix this?" And Hephaestus, who's not only a master craftsman but also really practical, just smacks Zeus on the head and cracks his skull open and lets Athena out. That's awesome. And real craftsmen know when just to do something simple.
Yeah. And if you guys are ever having a really bad headache, just call Baker and he'll just... and then maybe you'll have a surprise baby.
Yeah, maybe
you
you'll
know,
have...
if you...
I don't provide that service.
Oh,
Dionysius. I don't know.
This one's kind of a controversial
He's a contentious one. On one hand, he is the god of wine and ritual madness and religious ecstasy.
Yeah.
He's also the god of the theater and merriment. Yeah. So he's got a lot of good and a lot of bad. I mean, I think we can probably agree that ritual madness is doesn't really have a place in our society today.
You know, maybe if you enjoy going to parties, you would be a Dionysius fan.
For that reason, I'm gonna give him the same rank as Zeus, a 3. I think as a person, he's kind of maybe not a scummy guy like Zeus is, but he's a little bit of a...
I would give him a 5. Because I think that compared to the other gods, I respect his want to have fun and kind of his carefree spirit. He's not as serious or as evil as some of the other gods. But ultimately, I feel like he's kind of pointless. Honestly, his powers and the things that he's the gods of aren't that cool. I mean, the god of partying is pretty cool, but he's just kind of this weird guy in a toga with a bunch of grapes around his head.
We already have a modern day god of partying named Rivers Cuomo.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Goddess Hestia.
Honestly, I was always confused by this god when I was younger because it always said she was the goddess of the hearth, and I did not know what that meant. And I was like, why do they keep misspelling earth?
Yeah, I thought it meant the fire, which is close to what it means.
It's fireplace.
It's like the area around the fire.
Which is kind of the lame thing to be a god of.
Yeah, it's my first 5.
I feel like I'm more of a 3.
So that's all the main Greek gods. There's some other honorable mentions. You've got, Pan. Everybody knows Pan.
Oh, yeah.
God of the
I like
wild,
Pan.
shepherds
Pan is
and
cool.
rustic music.
Pan, if it was on the list, he would be like 9 or 10 minutes in.
He'd be a 6 or 7 to me, but I respect him. We've got Eris, the god of discord. Aeolus, the god of the winds. Whatever, man. Whatever. I mean, Zeus already rules the skies. Come on.
You got Asclepius, the god of medicine. Of course, any talk about the Greek gods would be remiss without mention of the Titans. One of the most awesome things ever.
Yeah. So the Titans are basically the progenitors to the gods. They are the parents of not all the gods, but they're the parents of Zeus and Poseidon and Hades, and the parents of many others as well. The Titans were pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I think you mean really cool.
They overthrew somebody. I don't remember who. Like the really, really old ones. The
Nobody
really
cares
ancient
about
ones.
them.
Yeah, not really. But the Titans were cool.
And the Titans are like really like kind of just evil. And like the fact that like I remember when I found out about the Titans, I was like, there was like a whole nother group of Greek gods before the Greek gods,
exactly.
and they're like turned into like evil statues, and they like some of them are like in the underworld and stuff.
They're all actually most of them are.
Yeah, and it's really crazy to me how they were like kind of like counterparts to each of the Greek gods, and I thought that was really cool. And honestly, like I always imagined like the Greek gods as like a TV show, and then like they would appear in like the premiere movie, and then would reappear in like the epic finale, and they'd come back and then have to fight them again. And then there's like a dramatic scene of like Cronus and Zeus fighting. It's like father versus son, but this son has more power now because of all he's been through. And it was kind of like a Darth Vader and like Luke situation for me.
For sure, they're cool. I gotta say, the Titans, and we think of them as evil, but really, that's the gods talking. I mean, the gods framed them as evil after overthrowing them.
And they're like more like anti-heroes, like misunderstood.
Yeah, they are. The only thing you gotta give them flack for is they married a lot of their siblings. That's
I don't really like
big
that.
Titan feature. They also hated humans. The gods did too, but they got over it. The Titans never really got over it. So, yeah. And nowadays, they're kind of a forgotten element of the mythology.
Except for like Atlas, because he's
Atlas holds the world up. Atlas and Prometheus. Prometheus is the one who gave humans fire. So those are the Greek gods.
Thanks for watching, guys. Come back next time. We'll be reviewing Egyptian gods.
Will we?
If you want to.
And that's the 3 heads of Cerberus.